All right, hey, it's May 10th, Lake of the Ozarks weekly fishing report. We took a little break last week, had some things going on, but we're back at it. Spent quite a bit of time on the lake here the last few days. Denise has been out several days. Last couple days, hit it pretty hard, 6 hours yesterday and 6 hours again today. So pretty up to date with what's going on. Water conditions, the water's still fairly stained, mainly in the Osage arm, going down, I'd say down to the glaze, down towards the toll bridge, and it starts to kind of clean off just a little bit, down towards the dam, down towards the Gravois. If you're out, and you'll notice some of the major creeks, or even like the glaze, the Nanguas, they're cleaning up pretty good. So you can almost see a line as you come out of these big creeks. That water's slightly clearer than the main lake. So if you look for a little clear water, or maybe tuck inside the secondary point or something, the creeks are definitely clear right now in some of the major big coves. All that dirty water is just kind of pushing through the lake right now. They've been running anywhere from 21 to 36,000 cubic foot for at least the last couple weeks. There's a lot of current going through the water or through the lake. Truman's up. And they're running it through the Ozarks to bring Truman down and generate electricity, whatever it is. But that current's a really good thing come June like this, when these fish are post spawn and they're wanting to get out there, they're wanting to feed, and they'll use that current. Water temp, let's see, today was 73. We'll say mid to lower 70s here. It's holding low 70s still, but next week we're going to have a pretty good warm up. So that's probably going to push the rest of these fish out to main lake, the ones that are going out there. Some won't go, but the majority of them will head on out and maybe get on some of these ledges a little deeper on some points. The water level was 658.12, so it's actually, a 1 3/4, almost 2 foot below summer pool. So it's come down just a little, but even with all this current, they're letting the equal amount in as they are letting out. So it's maintaining the, a pretty consistent level. So, when it does that, the fish get comfortable and they won't move drastically one way or the other, like they're pulling it real, dropping it, or raising it. So, conditions are getting really good. I'm not sure fishing can get much better than it's been the last 2-3 weeks. Man, you can just go out there and catch numbers just at ease. A lot of numbers. The big fish, they're hit and miss. Today I had a 5.4 today. That's the biggest fish I've seen probably 2 to 3 weeks myself. A few 3-pounders, and then a lot of just keepers, just good solid keepers. Yesterday we had a real good trip. A young man, Andy, and his dad, Brett, we spent 6 hours. Man, I don't know how many fish, probably 30, 35 fish. And I'll say maybe, out of all those fish, maybe 10 keepers total. A couple good solid 3-pounders, and then a lot of keepers. As far as baits, the Shaky head still is just is really shining. If you just want to come down and catch numbers and also catch some good size, just your Crappie Gator Shaky Pro head. I'm actually throwing 3 sizes. I'm throwing the 1/4 ounce, which is a small one, for a little slower fall. Say some of these points, or some of these ledges, or some of these bluff points where it's pretty vertical, you can throw that up there and just let it free fall. And a lot of these fish are suspended out there, and they'll grab that thing as it falls. So, and I've really noticed a lot on changing weights will determine if you're getting bites or not. If it falls too fast, it'll fall right by them. They're not going to chase it. Some days they want it falling real fast, so you just kind of got to experiment. But this is just a little 1/4 ounce Crappie Gator Shaky Pro head with the Zoom Mag finesse worm on it. As far as colors, I've been going through everything I got. I've got green pumpkin, straight green pumpkin candy. I've got green pumpkin purple and green flake. I got a blue flash. June bug, it don't matter. Just throw it out there. Work these main lake points, some bluff ledges, some long points that stick way out into the lake, you know, like from the bank, and it may have like a ridge, you know, coming off of the point and sticks way out into the lake. Some days those are the best ones, especially when they're pulling all this current. Them fish will kind of favor the ridge of these long points and ridges, and they'll get right up on the top of them. And you just kind of got to go from the bank 5 foot all the way out to 25 foot, and you know, drag you a shaky head like this one, a quarter, or I'll throw that 5/16, or like today we was catching so many small fish, we actually backed out a little bit, and I grabbed the Crankbait 5/8 ounce Shaky Pro with a, this is the rods I had this morning, June bug, big mag, Zoom mag worm, the mag trick and June bug, and I was dragging it and catching fish. I caught 12 inches all the way up to 3.5, 4 pounders on this today. You'll just catch a lot of fish. I'm not sure what the deal is. Why so many small fish this year in June? Normally we're catching just all really good fish, but we're just going through a lot of numbers. So it makes for a good fun day, you know, and if you're out there and you're fishing 4 to 6 hours, you're going to catch you some good ones. Just I've noticed you kind of got to, you know, go shallow, go deep, maybe switch it up with what type of rocks, whether it be ledgy or boulders or more baseball-y size off the points, maybe a real steep point or maybe a gradual one. You just kind of got to jump, basically just jump point to point to point until you start catching a few, and then put together what they're holding on. If they're relating to points that are catching the current, or if they're on the slack side of the lake where there's not so much current. So for whatever reason, some days they feed better. It's probably related to the shad movement. What they're relating to are just the mood of the fish. You get cloudy, rainy days, they'll feed one way. If you get a bright, sunny day, they'll feed another way. So you just kind of got to jump around. Another bait I've been throwing a little more here is just a jig. This is a 1/2 ounce zapper, and I'm putting this. I'm really starting to like this this Strike King Rage Tail Rage Chunk is what it's called. This thing's got a ton of movement, and it's just kicking down there. You can throw up against some vertical banks or rock banks or the draggy points, you know, or the rocky gravelly points that run way out, and just throw it out there and let it sink to the bottom. A lot of times they'll hit on the way down. If not, let it hit the bottom, drag it a little bit, pop it up real hard, just kind of see what kind of mood they're in. But that thing really moves a lot of water, and it's produced a lot of fish here lately. So that's that's been a real good bait. I caught several on that today. I'm just throwing that like always on a 7-foot Falcon Cara rod. This is the all around that Falcon has. It's a great rod. I use it for several different things: jigs, shaky heads, some small topwaters, what have you. I've just got it spooled up with 15-pound fluorocarbon on that jig. Same thing with like the shaky head. I'm actually throwing it on 17-pound when I'm going with them deeper baits, like the 5/8 ounce shaky head, 8-to-1 lose reel. This is 7'3" Falcon Amistad. So you want to make sure you got the right rod set up for your baits when it comes to weight wise, so you're not overdoing it on a rod or underdoing it. Like, you don't want to throw a light bait on one of these big long stout rods. You just want to have the exact setup for it, especially on bottom baits where it's going to matter a lot, where you can feel your bait. You got to keep in contact with that bait. If you lose your bait, you're not going to feel fish. It doesn't matter. So let's see what else we've been throwing. We've been throwing of course a buzz bait, crackbait buzz bait in the mornings. Been pretty good. It's kind of hit and miss. On the cloudy days, we're catching them quite a bit. On the sunny days, we're catching them maybe the first hour or two. Throwing a buzz bait, throwing the Chapo, throwing a whopper plopper, the big whopper plopper. I thought I had one up here. But the black whopper plopper, the little bitty whopper plopper, you can catch a lot of numbers on that, and a few good fish on that too. and that's just the same main lake points, but right up on the bank. Basically parallel these banks. Most of these fish are up on the points, and they'll move up real shallow. Might have a little bit of shad spawn still going on. There's a lot of bluegill up shallow. So they're up there feeding on that stuff, and you throw topwater up there, you may not crank it 2 foot and a fish will be on it. So, obviously that's a lot of fun. The topwater and different, the black one, the pearl with the little blue on the front, I like it a lot. Man, everything's just, you can go out there and catch them on several things. We caught them on shaky heads for a while, and then we started throwing swim baits, and we caught several on swim baits, and then we even threw topwaters a little bit on some of the main lake docks, wave breaks, stuff like that, that's catching the current, and them fish will get up underneath there, and that's more of a numbers deal. But this time of year, you will catch some decent keeper largemouth until they move on out. But as far as the swim baits, I've just been taking a 1/2 ounce Zapper HD. As far as color of head, it don't matter. I like black. I put black on there, but I've used green, brown, whatever. It doesn't matter the color of the head. But say if you have some old ones where the skirts are tore up or whatever, a weed guard falls out, I usually peel the weed guard out. You can see how I got it rigged right here. This is just a Kitech 4.5 swim impact little swim bait. That thing is a killer out there. They'll eat this up, and you catch both numbers and size on that. That's I throw it on this 1/2 ounce head. If I'm throwing, say, from 5 foot out to 15, 18 foot, if that's where I think the fish are, you're seeing them on the Garmin Live Scope, I'll throw this one. Or if like on trips and stuff, I'm throwing it on spinning rods and reels. Not to overdo it on spinning rod and reels, we'll just throw a 1/2 ounce of bait on there. And like I said, from the bank out to 15, 18 foot. If the fish are out deeper on them deep drops that fall in the main channel, like say 20 foot down and it drops off in the 60 foot channel, then we're going to the big Zoom swimmer, the 5-inch swimmer that they've had all these years, and now I've heard they've discontinued this. So if you have any of these, hang on to them for when you need them, or if you can scoop them up, you better scoop them up. But I throw this on the 3/4 ounce Crankbait reaction jig head, and I'll peel that weed guard out and push it right up tight against there and super glue it on there to hold it on there. I'm throwing it on 17-pound test, 7'3" Amistad Falcon, and the 8-to-1 lose reel, and you're throwing it out there and you're letting it sink to the bottom. Let it hit the bottom, but as soon as it hits the bottom, pop it up. Otherwise, it's going to hang up. It'll hang up every time. But just try to let it hit the bottom and pull it up quick, and then start reeling it, keeping it above the surf or above the bottom. Here's one I've got rigged on. I'll go on and I'll rig several of them up. So I've got them super glued. I might do it at home on a table or something so I can get the super glued. I know it's a mess, but it's probably the best way to do it. You super glue it up tight to that head, and it will stay on there real good for you. But you see, just make sure you get it level to your hook. And if you notice here, I take one of these markers, the fluorescent yellow chartreuse, and I'll put me a line on the side of these. I don't know how much it helps, but I think it really helps a lot, and especially in dirty water like this. So that's kind of how I rig it. And I use this. It's real easy to do it, not make a mess in your boat. The crankbaits coming on real good. The 6XD, the 10XD, just in the old shad color. Color works real good. Some days these fish are out there, and you can see them out there suspended, and they won't hit the swim bait, and they're not on the bottom, and you gotta really crank that crankbait through them really fast, and just try to get a reaction back. If you can fire them up, a lot of times you can sit on the same school and catch several of them. It's just a reaction thing. You're burning that crankbait down there. Burn it, stop it, give it a pull. Do something when you get to the school to just create a reaction. So that's what crankbait's all about. Like I said, you can throw the 10XD to get your way down there. The old DD22 works real good. Like the chartreuse and purple. The chartreuse and blue something in this dirty water. But you can just throw the shad color, it's going to catch fish too. So if you get the bait to get down deep enough to hit the bottom, that's always a plus, unless you're working on suspended fish and you can see exactly how deep they are. Then you want your bait to get down to them or above them. You don't want your bait obviously going below them, because most time these fish, the bass won't go down to feed, but they'll definitely come up to feed. And you can watch them on a live scope chase and react to your bait. And if you get a bait below them, you don't catch them. But if you get above them, you'll see them come out of that school and hit them. So just keep that in mind. If you see them on your locators, just make sure your bait, or whichever one you choose, is at your bait, at your fish, or above them. So, and usually I'm throwing this on 12 pound. There's different opinions on what line. I particularly like monofilament on these, just because I'm burning it. So I'm burning that bait fast, and when they hit it, I want that monofilament to give a little bit. The hooks are sharp. You give a pole, you're going to hook them, but that monofilament will give enough that it's not going to pull these treble hooks out. I know some guys like fluorocarbon. I like the monofilament. So you just kind of got to choose what you prefer, but that's my line of choice on crankbaits. I'm not a big crankbaiter. I don't throw it a lot, but there are times you need to throw it. And this is one of the times a year when you definitely need to have it tied on and throw it. So, you know, as far as the conditions of the lake in different areas, I was up the river, a week or so ago, up around the 50-mile marker, and it was real good. We caught several fish. It was a little slower up there. I spent, yesterday, we spent a lot of time in the glaze. You know, there's a lot of fish in the glaze, all the tournaments. You know, and they filter out, and they'll get out and they'll start getting, even though they're what we'd call release fish, they start getting back into a normal pattern to what they relate to, whether it be points or current or ledges or brush or whatever. They get back into just a normal, feeding pattern, or what they hold on. So there's a lot of fish in the glaze. You can put in PB2 and stay fairly close and catch a lot of fish. That's kind of what we did yesterday. I think we made it from the glaze. We went on up to the toll bridge and caught plenty of fish. Today, me and a good friend Dana Xander was fishing. We just went out and fun fished this morning. Haven't got to do that for a while, so kind of took a break and did that. And we fished from 6 Mile to the dam today and caught just as many fish. Caught several nice ones today. Last week I was up in the Gravois, and it was pretty much identical everywhere except the Gravois. The lower Gravois was a little cleaner, so I kind of felt like the swim bait worked a little better just because of visual. They're going to find it just by the action and the movement and vibration, but if you got a little clear water, that swim bait's going to work better for you. So just keep that in mind. The 9-1 arm looks really good from, Highway 5 bridge on up past Larry Gale. It looks real good. It kind of gets a little stained still once you get above Larry Gale, above Bridal Cave. But that's a real good looking watercolor. All of the 9-1 right now. The glaze is doing a lot better. The lower end is pretty clean. The upper end is still a little dirty. We've had a little bit of rain. And I don't know as far as the next week. I honestly ain't looked at the forecast, but if we got a lot of rain forecast, those creeks they'll muddy up pretty quick because they're already pretty saturated with water. So that it's going to come in pretty quick. But boy, that's really about it. Still loving the Vexus, the thing, especially today coming back from 6 Mile back to Shawnee after the trip. It was getting rough. The big boats were out. I know we got that big parade. They're trying to break the world record or something down there in the glaze today, or Saturday, tomorrow, so you won't see me anywhere around the glaze tomorrow. And if you're a fisherman, probably don't go near the glaze tomorrow. But, running down that big water, big waves, waves from different directions, bigger boats, the air ride seats are the deal. I've been in these boats a long time, and it takes a toll on your back. And I wish I would have had these a long time ago, maybe back wouldn't be in the shape it's in. But regardless, like always, I've got 22 hours on this boat now. So far I have 0 complaints. There's no vibration. There's no noises. There's no like looseness in the boat at all when you're hitting these waves. It's just a solid constructed boat. And it's impressing me every time I go out. So like I said, if you see me at the ramp, or if you're interested, go down to Sport World Boat Center down here in Sunrise Beach, talk to Gary. He knows all in and outs of these Vexus boats. If you see me at the ramp or whatever, just yell at me, come over, jump in this boat and take a look at it. So until next week, good luck, get down here. Don't miss the next couple weeks down here. If at all possible, get down here and catch some fish, because it does not get any better at the Ozarks than it is in the weeks of June. I'll say from now all the way through July, it's just going to be excellent fishing. It just is every single year, and this year is no different. It's been really good. So if Denise or I can help you, give us a call. I will say we are both pretty booked up through June, but we both do have a couple days here and there that are open. So if we can help you, give us a call, 573-204-9005 for me, or 314-226-3099 for Denise. And if we can help you in any way, we will. Fishing related, hotel related, restaurant, whatever, maintenance on your boat, whatever it is, just give us a call. We'll help you out, shoot us a text, and we'll help you where we can. So thanks for tuning in. Until next week, we'll see you. Be careful out there, and we'll see you next time.